Before you start this job, make sure the window's up, and it's always a good idea to leave a passenger window down so you don't lock the keys in the car. Take this panel off. I'm just going to use a trim tool. Just get behind here, pry it out, and then up. There's a little clip right there. Those two little pins. Take this cover off next. Just get under here. And there's some clips. There should be a clip right there. It looks like it broke before. And then this slides out. Take this little cover off. You could use either this trim tool or even a small screwdriver. Now take the trim tool, get under here, and just push it out a little bit. Pry it, and then it's going to slide towards the back. It's a pin right there, two little clips right there. And just use a trim tool, get under here, and just pry this out. It's just a push pin, just like that. Now we're going to take these two bolts out. Just move this lock rod to the back. There's a bolt right here and a bolt right here. Use a 7mm socket. Take that bolt out, and this one. The lower one's the longer one. Take this bolt out. Use a T20 socket. Now just grab the door panel. You want to slide up and then come out slightly. You don't want to break any of those clips. And it's going to be hard to see, but you have to reach to grab the wires. Disconnect the wires for the window switch. And over here, push down. This is like a ratchet retainer. While this is in there, there's a little button right there you push, and then you ratchet this down, and that disconnects that. And one more connector. And these all have push pins, or push retainers, push locks. Just push all those down. Over here, just pull this light socket out. Just pull it towards the vehicle. And carefully, there's a bulb right there. And pull the door panel off. Right, just take some of this vapor barrier out of the way. Just peel it down. You need to be able to access right here. And disconnect the electrical connectors. There's one right here. Just slide that out of the way. There's another connector right here. You just kind of got a feel for it. There's another lock tab, just like the other one. Take that off. And then there's another one behind it. And that one's a little tricky to get to. Same thing. Get your finger behind the lock and slide it out. I'm just going to take this wiring harness out of the way. Just use some needle nose pliers. Push down on this clip or retainer. Try not to break it. And just pull that out of the way. There's a retainer right here for the door handle rod. This goes to the outside door handle. You need to pop this off. Just grab behind it and just pull it out. It's almost like a door. And then slide the rod out. Just like that. This goes to the outside door lock cylinder. You need to take this rod off. Just pop the retainer off like that. Twist to the side and it pulls out. Now this rod that goes to the inside door handle, just pop this off. You can use a pick or a screwdriver. Get under here, slide that off, slide it up. It's okay that that's loose, just like that. And then up here for the door lock, Get under here, just pop this out. Just like that. I can take these bolts out, use a T30. Just grab the lock rods and this should be able to come out. Try to get that out of the vapor barrier. You could always take this inside door handle off if it gives you a little more room. Just take that bolt out and then this whole thing slides forward and pulls out. But it's not necessary. And just slide this out just like that. All right, so we want to transfer these lock rods over to the new unit. Just take a straight blade screwdriver. Get under here, pop that out. I personally would do one at a time. Lock it in place. Same with the other one. So we're going to overlap like that. Flip it over. Do the same with this one. And if you break this off the old one, it's not a big deal. Swap it to the new one. Here we go. All right, let's slide this in position. Make sure this one that goes up to the lock switch goes behind this rod. You can slide this rod through here. Slide it back in. And then this rod that goes to the lock cylinder, make sure that's going upwards. And there we go. Get this in position over here. You can leave that right there for now before let's attach this over here. And I'll put these bolts back in. All right, just make sure all these rods are going in their right location before we tighten these down. The lock cylinder rod needs to be closest to the door, the outside part of the door panel. The other rod that attaches to the outside door handle, that attaches to the latch, to that yellow bracket down there, make sure that's in front of the other rod. And then these rods are like this. That all looks good. Now let's tighten these down. And just push this back in position. Make sure it all lines up. That's good. Now this one. And lock it down. And attach this lock cylinder rod and latch it down. That's good. And then attach the outside door handle rod. Try to get that lined up, just like that. And fold the door closed. Just like that. All right, take this wiring harness, slide it back in position, push the retainer through there, and one of the connectors is going to go right there, lock it in place. The other two, a little bit harder to see. Connect that one, and then connect this one. Okay, that's good. And put the vapor barrier back. If you need to use some butyl tape to hold it in place, you can do that, or some type of adhesive. And connect the connectors. That's good. Take this light, slide that back in position. That's good. All right, line the door panel back up. And you actually have to move this lock rod towards the outside of the door. With that all lined up, then you can push it down. Just make sure it's in all the way around. Put these screws back in. Get that started. Tighten it up. And put the screw that goes right there. This is the smaller one. Get that one started. I'll get this longer one started. And tighten these up. And push this push pin right back there. This cover's going to go over here. Pop that back on. Pop this cover on, slide it over the handle. Put the front in first, or down, and push it in. This lock is going to go, you have to move the lock rod again, move it to the unlock, slide this front in first, lock it in place, make sure it works. And this last piece of trim right here. Line it up, lock it in place.